We're back with another episode. If you're a hybrid athlete that wants to run twice a week while lifting, how would you go about it? How would you plan your training week? What kind of runs should you be doing? Are you even going to make progress? Why is it useful? Why might it not be useful? Hybrid athletes that run twice a week is probably one of the most popular methods seen by those that want to run and lift at the same time. It gives a really nice balance between running and lifting that isn't too much for the average person to handle. We're going to dive into it a little bit more. Let's not fuck around. Let's dive in. So why would you run twice a week? In the context of hybrid training. Obviously, you're a hybrid athlete. You want to improve your cardiovascular fitness and lift at the same time. When I first started hybrid training, I was running twice a week. What I found was it was an easy way to progress. It was an easy way for me to manage both my running and lifting together. It didn't feel like too much work, and it was a very simple and straightforward way to structure my training week and ensure continuous progression. It didn't feel like it was too overwhelming, and honestly, I found like it worked, so I didn't feel the need to change it. In the context of my clients, many of them will do 2 runs a week because they want to improve their cardiovascular fitness as well. And it definitely works. Running twice a week can give you plenty of fitness improvements, and you can mix those runs up to have some variety in them so they aren't too boring, while still ensuring you're getting faster and fitter. Right now, I'm running a little bit more than twice a week. That's because I think I'm past the point where running twice a week is going to benefit me. I'm going to explain that a little bit further. It'll be good if I wanted to maintain my fitness, but I think at the level that I'm at now, I need to be running more frequently, which is why I'm doing 3 to 4 runs a week at the moment. However, you can still make plenty of progress if you are a beginner to intermediate level athlete running twice a week. And if you know what you're doing or you have some structure to them, your training week, you 100% can continuously progress both in the gym and your running with no issues at all. And it's actually not that much work. So what are the pros of running twice a week? Well, obviously, you get to run and you get to improve your cardiovascular fitness. This is the first thing and probably the reason why you're doing it in the first place. You can definitely make cardiovascular improvements by running twice a week. One of the key benefits to running twice a week is fatigue management. As you progress in your hybrid training, you will find that pushing your running often and pushing your lifting often can create a lot of fatigue and make you feel really tired. When you are running twice a week, it's quite easy to manage the intensity and volume of both of those runs, as well as your lifting sessions and basing them around those running sessions, or vice versa. It's really easy to balance your training week and work on whatever you need to without feeling overcooked. Fatigue management is crucial in hybrid training, which you've heard me say countless times, but balancing it with 2 runs a week is a really great way to start, and it's not too overwhelming for most people. The other benefit being is that it's super easy to follow and it's quite easy to be consistent with. The way I would structure it for most people, and I'll dive into this a little bit more in a second, is I would do 1 longer run, which is a little bit slower, and 1 shorter and faster based run. You could do the shorter run during the week and the longer run on a weekend. For most people, that's extremely manageable. It's also quite easy to progress, which is awesome. All you need to do is either increase the speed of those faster runs or increase the duration of those runs, increasing the volume of those runs overall, and you should notice that your fitness improves. It also gives you ample recovery between each run, decreasing the risk of things like overuse injuries, which are super apparent in those that start out in this style of training. Most importantly, again, managing fatigue, being able to recover from session to session, being able to push those gym sessions and not feeling too overwhelmed by it all. Although there are a lot of benefits to running twice a week, there are also some negatives. One of them being that because you're only running twice a week, as you do progress and you get towards that intermediate to advanced stage of running, you may find that the duration, difficulty, or length of those 2 runs that you're doing needs to be really high in order to get an improvement. If you want to increase your running volume, or you find you need to increase your running volume in order to improve, it can be really hard to do that when you only have 2 runs. It means that both of those runs, or one of them, needs to be extremely long, maybe as long as 20 to 30 kilometers, which can be huge for some people. In addition to that, your other run, which is supposed to be short, may also need to eventually be quite long, in excess of 8 to 10 kilometers, which I would not consider a short run for the vast majority. If you do want to continue progressing while running twice a week, there will be a point in time where the running volume needs to be quite high. Those training sessions need to be quite hard. And because they are so hard and so long, they're taking a lot of time and they're also causing a lot of fatigue. If you're doing a long run on a weekend that's in excess of 20 Ks, you're probably going to feel really tired after. So it's not necessarily the best at managing fatigue at that point, as you may be better off splitting that longer weekend run into maybe a couple other shorter runs that cause a lot less fatigue and are a lot less easier to cope with over the course or duration of a week. Because you are only running twice a week, you can probably improve your running to a certain point before it starts to slow down. Condensing more work into just those 2 sessions, you could just add another shorter run or something like that, or another 1 or 2 runs during your training week, and you might notice my runs feel a lot easier, my progress is actually a lot faster, despite the fact I'm running a lot more, but I'm actually managing the fatigue, the stress, and everything like that a lot more now. I'm progressing, and the quality of those runs are a lot better. One of the other issues you will find when you start doing those really long runs in order to progress is that the quality of the run decreases. If you're doing a 20-kilometer plus run, you might be running really well for the first 15 or so kilometers, and you might find that your running form and intensity dips a lot after that period. It definitely still is helping, but considering the quality has dropped so much, you may be better off pushing the remainder of that volume onto another training day instead, and ensuring you have another quality session instead. As I've kind of already mentioned, you get the issue of compaction, where having all of your work in one training session is not the same as having your work dispersed over the course of a week. Another example I could use is if you could only hit the gym once a week, would you do a 5-day training program in one day? No. 1, it's just going to be way too much to manage. 2, you're probably not getting any benefit after the first couple hours of actually training before everything is just wasting your time and your body is absolutely cooked. So the same principle can apply to running. Rather than dispersing a whole week's worth of training into one day, that's probably not the best way to go if you want to progress. You're better off dispersing that training volume out through the week so you can get higher quality sessions in. All work in one session is not equal to all work across multiple sessions. Keep that in mind. Okay, so we've got 2 run types that I would have in my program if I'm only running twice a week. The first one being a short and fast run, which I would usually do during the week. And the reason why is that it's easier to get done during the week if someone works full-time or has a busy schedule. The short and fast run can be something like a tempo run, which is where you try to maintain the same pace over a long period of time. The next one would be an interval-based run, which is where you would do a fast run over a shorter distance, but you would rest at the end of each rep. An example of this could be something like 10 by 400 meters with 2 or 3 minute rest in between sets. I'll have a diagram or something on the page so you can see better, and I'll give a couple examples. But generally with the short and fast run, I'll start off with a slower portion, which means I'm starting off with a jog / warm up, just to build up a little bit more volume. Maybe the warm up is 2 to 4 kilometers and it's really slow. And then I'll get into the hard bit of the workout, either doing the tempo run, which is where maybe I'll do 5 kilometers at my race pace, or I'll do interval-based run, which is where I'm doing 10 by 400s at faster than my race pace. Those are examples. Doing the fast run during the week is one, this works a little bit of a different energy system. It works the energy system that uses glycogen a little bit more. It also is important if you want to get faster. Running slow is awesome because it will over time help you get faster as you get fitter. However, running fast is its own thing, and you do need to actually practice the technique of doing it. If you're only ever running slow, when you go to run fast, you're going to be like, fuck, this feels so different. And it does, because running faster is very different to running slow. So it's important you just practice running in general, of course, but running faster is going to teach you how to run fast. There are going to be little things about your technique and things that you didn't realize that you weren't good at that you probably want to hone in. So doing that short and fast run is really important for that, as well as being the type of run that is actually going to increase your speed, not just your fitness. The next type of run we're looking at is the long run. This one's normally done on the weekend. The long run is going to be, in this case, the majority of your weekly running volume. So you need to be doing more than at least 50% of your total running volume in that long run to ensure you're getting the volume in. The primary focus of this long run is to build your aerobic fitness and get used to running on tired legs. This type of run is going to be slow. It's going to be 1 minute to 2 minutes slower than what your race pace is, and it's on purpose. It should be slow. It should take a lot longer to do. It should be just like a jog, something you can do comfortably, something close to zone 2, as many people like to paraphrase. But the purpose of this run is to build that aerobic fitness and, again, just practice running. This type of run will leave you pretty tired after as the kilometers increase. If you're doing runs over 15 Ks at a time, this type of run is something you're going to actually have to plan your day around, because it's going to make you feel pretty fucked afterwards. But nonetheless, long run, really important. 1 short, one fast, one long and slow, perfect combination. Just a caveat here, something you can add on to both of these short and fast runs or long runs. In that short and fast run, I often, if I'm programming for someone, will have them alternate their weeks. So one week they'll do a tempo run, which is more of a continuous pace, not taking breaks. The following week they'll do more of an interval run, which is a little bit faster than the tempo run, but they'll have to take breaks at the end of whatever that interval is. So if they're doing 500-meter intervals, at the end of that 500 meters, they're going to take a little bit of a break. So in theory, they should actually be going faster than what they would be doing if they're doing their tempo run. In theory, but it's not always the case. And then the long run, sometimes what I might add in there is strides. A stride is like anywhere from a 10 to like 30-second burst where you'll kind of run really fast at your race pace just for that short period of time. And then you'll go back down to whatever pace you were supposed to be doing or whatever pace you were supposed to be doing. So in a long run example, I might do if I'm doing a 15-kilometer long run, every 1 kilometer, I might add in a 15-second stride. And that might be 15 seconds where I'm picking up the pace running fast, and then at the end of that 15 seconds, I pull it back. Another way to do that is to do your long run and then have strides placed at the end. It's not quintessential or important, but if you want to get better at running faster and you need to improve the technique of running fast, then adding strides into your long run is a great way to go. Okay, so now I'm going to give you some example training weeks of people that I coach right now. These are real people, they have full-time jobs or they're full-time students. They are running and lifting at the same time and they're all running twice a week. Person number 1 over here does weights on a Monday, does their short run on a Tuesday, normally like either an interval session or a tempo run. As I mentioned, they do weights again on a Wednesday and they do their long run on the weekend. Yeah, very normal kind of split we're looking at here. A lot of people you'll find are doing that alternating weights run, okay? It's very rare that you'll see me do 2 running days in a row. You're probably not gonna do your short run on a Tuesday and then do your long run on a Wednesday. Your short run is gonna carry some fatigue in your legs, so you probably don't wanna run the day after. Person number 2 here, weights on a Monday, short run on a Tuesday, then they do another 2 weight sessions and they'll do their long run either on a Saturday or Sunday in this case. This particular person, because they normally do their long run on a Saturday or Sunday and they do weights on a Monday, sometimes when they're going into that weight session on a Monday, their legs are a little bit cooked. But in this situation, this person, their weight session on a Monday is normally only upper body anyway, so it doesn't hinder it all that much. One thing I will recommend is if you can, you probably want to rest after your long run. For the majority of people, the long run can be quite fatiguing, okay? It's probably the run that you want to not do a whole lot after. You want to let your body and your legs recover. So if you can rest the day after a long run, it's probably a good thing. Sometimes I'll run after my long run the next day, but I'm not doing a hard run the day after the long run. I'm doing something short and slow, something super cruisy, more of a recovery run. But because we're only doing these 2 runs, we're only running twice a week, we haven't got space for that extra run, so we're keeping them short, sharp, and concise, or we're keeping them sharp and concise. So we've got that short and fast run, and we've got that long run, okay? You will never see me put these 2 runs back to back. That's one thing that you're not going to see in a 2-day-a-week running program. You're not going to be running 2 consecutive days. There's no need, and frankly, even if you did the short run first and did your long run the day after, you're probably not going to have a good time. You're going to be hating it when you're doing this long run. If you did it the other way around, you're going to hate it even more. Your legs aren't going to have the energy to push, okay? So try to leave a few rest days in between. If you hit the gym, that's fine. Obviously, just be cautious of the total leg volume and stuff that you're doing, but all of that kind of shit I've explained in other videos, so I'm not going to go into it here. Person number 3. This person does their runs during the week. So they'll normally always do their short run on a Monday. Tuesday, they have off. Weights on a Wednesday. Thursday, they do their long run. See how there's a few days in between their 2 runs, Monday and Thursday. We're not doing them back to back. Friday, they'll have off. Again, taking that Friday off, the day after the long run, not a bad strategy. Don't have to do it, but not a bad strategy. And then they do their 2 weight sessions on weekend. This person, 3 lift, 2 run. This person, 3 lift, 2 run. This person, 2 lift, 2 run. If you were more of an advanced lifter, you can absolutely do 4 lifting sessions and 2 runs. That's what I did when I first started out. It worked out fine. Again, the key is fatigue management, so you just got to play around with that and make sure you're recovering from session to session. But otherwise, there's no right or wrong answer. There's all different ways to do it, but there are a couple of things that you can do in most cases to optimize it. If you can play around with your training week a little bit and your schedule, just to optimize it a little bit more for recovery and stuff like that, you may find you get better results and you have higher quality training sessions, which is always important. As always, hybrids, if you're having trouble structuring your training week or planning your progression in hybrid training, I have online coaching spots available for anyone, anywhere in the world. I do all the thinking for you. All of the strategies and methods you're hearing me talk about in these videos, I apply to you and I tailor them to you and what you need. Visit my website, www.coachmichaelsekos.com, or hit me up on Insta at Coach Michael Sekos. Shoot me a DM. I'll gladly help you out. All you have to do is reach out and I will do the rest. And that's a wrap on another video. I hope you got something out of it. If you are a hybrid athlete only running twice a week, I've given you some info on how to map out your training week, what type of runs you should be doing, and the benefits of doing each of those types of runs. As always, if you need tailored support in planning your hybrid training, reach out to me. We'll get coaching tailored to you by me, someone who knows what they're doing, someone that has made all the mistakes so you don't have to. All you have to do is visit my website or hit me up on Insta and I'll do the rest. Please like, please comment, please subscribe. I'm going to keep bringing more content out just like this. If there's something in particular that you guys want to see, comment below. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching.